I get why people like it, but it's not for me. I can never wear this shoe. I'm gonna prep first, then I'll take.
So do you like this one or the Jordan 15 better?
15.
Really?
Yeah, 15 by a long shot. I would actually wear the 15. These, I don't know, it'd take a lot. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to this brand new episode of Customs with Vic. What we got for you guys today is a pair of all white Triple S Balenciagas. This custom is presented to you by StockX. They're the most best way and easiest way to buy authentic sneakers, streetwear, and so much more. Here at Reshoevn8r, everybody uses StockX because it's so convenient and you get authentic sneakers every time. So make sure you guys download the app. Back to the shoes. For this custom, we're going to be replicating the Wave Runner colorway. This colorway is so clean, I don't know what it is. The color just flows so nicely. I thought this colorway will look really good on this shoe. It's gonna be some work. I'm gonna be sore after this video. This shoe is so freaking heavy. It's like 3 Air Forces combined into one. I'm already pretty sore just from holding it for 5 seconds. But we do gotta some work ahead of us. So, let's get started. First step we're gonna do is put this big ass shoe to the side. Take out all the shoe inserts, pop in our Reshoevn8r shoe tree inside the shoe. Alright, so the reason why I'm using a shoe tree, when I'm painting a custom, it just helps holding onto the shoe tree as I paint, especially for this shoe. This shoe is incredibly heavy, so I need something to grip the shoe. Now let's remove the shoelaces and get started with this custom. The first step we're gonna do is get started by prepping the leather areas. The leather they use on the shoe is very premium, very soft, so I'm a little scared about using acetone. We're gonna go very lightly. We'll start off on the inside just in case anything happens. It doesn't get ruined on the outside where it's super noticeable. It should be fine, but we'll have to be a little careful. Alright, so acetone's not damaging the material. I'm not gonna drench the premium leather because that might damage it. If you just go over it really lightly, it should be fine. Let's keep going. Leather's all prepped, it's good to go, no damage was done. Originally it was like a really soft premium leather. It's a little rougher now, but it's still soft. Anyway, let's keep it moving. We're gonna tape off the entire sole. It's gonna be a lot of tape and some areas in the uppers. So then we can start painting. Shoe is taped up, took a little while, but not too long. Next step we're gonna move on to is laying down the gray on all the spots that are visible. The mixture was about 90% white, a few drops of black, and some drops of tan leather. Really easy to make, mess with it a little bit. Let's spray it. Gray is laid down all over the shoe. Looks pretty good. The Wave Runner is not here with me, but the color is pretty close to the original. I'll compare them later. The next step we're gonna move on to is laying down the same gray I use on the uppers, but with a more of a creamier tone. This gray is gonna go on the leather areas of the shoe. Once that's done, we'll move on to the next color. The leather is all done. Looks very close to the mesh area, but I assure you it's a little bit darker and a little bit more creamier. The next color we're gonna move on to is laying down this turquoise green. It's a weird green, it's a nice green, I like it. We're gonna lay down this color on the back strip of the shoe. I know on the actual Wave Runner, the green's on the front. I just couldn't make it fit in the front. If I was gonna do it in the front, it was gonna be forced. I didn't want to force a color on that area. So I figured the next best spot was its back piece since there was nothing really going on in this area. Let's lay it down using some angular brushes. This is definitely gonna take a while. Green's laid down, check that out. Very crisp, no tape needed, no green on the gray mesh. Good to go. Before I move on from that step, I did forget to mention the colors I used to create this exact color from the Wave Runners. It was blue turquoise, sapphire, dark green, and olive. Mess around with those colors. Start off with dark green and olive, add a little bit of sapphire, add a little bit of blue turquoise, and then mess with those colors. You should come pretty close. So next step we're gonna move on to is laying down the blue on the tongue. Before I can apply it, I have to mix it with some GAC 900. This stuff helps the paint adhere better to the mesh areas. Without it, it just won't bond properly, and any little nick will scuff the paint right off. The colors I used to create this color was gray and light blue. Super easy. Ratios for this mixture is really simple. It's 1:1. Add a little bit of GAC, and then add the exact same amount of paint to the jar. Blue's nicely laid down, nice and even. Off camera, I had to go back, tape everything around it, give it a few coats through the airbrush. That helped even out the color. It was a little bit blotchy. It looks good now. So if you guys ever had that situation at home where it looks a little bit blotchy, tape everything off, airbrush it, it'll look perfect. Next that we're gonna move on to is laying down the black on this panel, and that panel. 3 panels. One thing I do want to mention, this leather is pretty much suede. It's like a leather suede. It is super soft. So the problem with that is, if you don't apply the paint correctly, it could get really crusty. So for example, on this area, it's overall pretty smooth, but on this area over here, the way I painted it, it came out a lot rougher. So I think the trick is to paint in the direction of the suede that you can comb it. So for example, using a brush, I'm gonna comb the suede this direction on all 3 parts, then apply my black paint in that same direction. I don't want to I don't want to lay down the paint the opposite direction, because that's probably going to create a really crusty look, and I don't want that. Let's see what happens. Black is laid down. This step was super time consuming. I did mention I had a brush in one direction to get that smooth feel. It came out really, really good. If you check out these 2 panels, it kept that nice smooth texture. Super happy about that. On the toe box area, overall it came out pretty smooth, but there was one area where it's a little rough. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera. Doesn't look terrible, but it's there. It's just one of those things. Couldn't prevent it from happening. You know, I did brush in that direction, but it was just too rough in those areas. Overall though, it looks really good. The shoes is starting to come together. So we're gonna move on to the next step, which is laying down the orange on the bottom portion of the midst of the sole. Off camera, I did went ahead and spray these with Bulldog Adhesion Promoter. I did this earlier because this stuff really stinks. I hate the smell. Even wearing a mask, you still bring the smell in here with it. It just stinks like hell. So I did it earlier off camera. So next step we're gonna do is pretty much just freehand it. I'm just using straight up orange mixed with a little bit of white to get that bright orange that they use on the Wave Runners. Let's do it. Orange is all done, guys. That was the missing factor on this shoe. Now it definitely looks like a Wave Runner colorway. It's all tied in now. It looks good. The last thing we gotta do is put the laces on. That'll really tie it in together. One thing I did forget to show you guys was spraying the matte finish on the shoe. When the shoe was still taped up, I went outside and sprayed it with the matte finish. Completely forgot to show you guys on camera, but that's okay. You guys see me do it a million times. Nothing special, but I did spray the matte finish earlier in the video. So the last step we gotta do is go outside, protect the mesh areas of sock liner using our Reshoevn8r Water+Stain Repellent. Let's go. Alright YouTube, that is going to bring us to an end on these Yeezy Triple Waves. Honestly, this colorway just happened to fit perfectly on the shoe. Before I did the custom on these all white Triple S Balenciagas, I was a little iffy. I wasn't exactly sure how the colorway was going to fit. Luckily, it looks pretty darn good. The colors flow nicely just like it does on the Yeezy 700. It just flows really nicely on the Balenciaga. Too bad Yeezy beat them to the punch on this colorway. Balenciaga cannot release this colorway. If they do, it'd be straight jockeying. But it flows really nicely. After adding the orange, after adding the yellow laces, it really tied the shoe nicely together. It just came out really nice. It was a simple project. It was just color blocking, but it was time consuming. Laying down the black on the leather was, it was some technique to it. All the tape work, laying down the colors, matching the colors, it was time consuming, but overall the project was pretty easy. And to conclude this custom, I sprayed it with Reshoevn8r Water+Stain Repellent. This shoe contains a lot of mesh materials. I painted the insides, the tongues are painted, pretty much the entire shoe is painted, so I don't want the paint rubbing off on the socks when the guy is wearing them. I don't want the paint to get damaged from water being spilled on them or any kind of drink. That's why I had to spray it with Reshoevn8r Water+Stain Repellent. That would protect it from all that stuff happening to the shoe and causing any damage. Speaking about Reshoevn8r, we just recently launched our Reshoevn8r Rewards program. Our Reshoevn8r Rewards program is a way of giving back to our customers by giving you guys laundry tokens for every dollar you spend. You could also earn extra laundry tokens by following us on various social platforms such as Instagram and Facebook. As an added bonus, we're going to give you 200 laundry tokens just for signing up. So click on the link above and sign up today. This episode of Customs with Vic was brought to you by StockX. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next Monday.